All right, check it out. Today we're going to be talking about a very common beginner mistake, attacking from the back position. This was inspired by a couple of my students. I see students who do it all the time. So one of the big challenges with attacking the back is a sense of false urgency, okay? And I think this is a big mistake for a lot of beginners, is this idea that you have to go from point A to point B as quickly as possible. The reality is, if more important than going from point A to point B, unless you're competing, you've got 30 seconds left in the match, you don't need to worry about being so urgent with your movements. So more important than understanding, more important than getting from point A to point B as quickly as possible, it's better to learn how to control a position as opposed to just rushing it, okay? You got to keep in mind that control is the name of the game here. We're trying our best to isolate limbs and submit our opponents based on control and immobilization. So my goal in any jiu-jitsu match is to immobilize my opponent, control them, and submit them, okay? Now, one of the things that I see in Turtle a lot, especially with beginners, is you get into some kind of top turtle position, and then you immediately try to throw the leg over your partner. Your partner is not a horse, okay? Do not just throw your leg over your partner here. If Bryson picks his butt up and bows his head, I lose the position, okay? So I'm gonna show kind of a jiu-jitsu way, and I'm gonna show kind of a wrestling way. I prefer the wrestling way personally. But you have to understand, like, imagine there's a big target on your partner's back. That's where your chest belongs here in the event that you're gonna try to take the back, okay? Personally, I don't try to take the back from this position, and I'll explain why in a second. Oh yeah, by the way, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have any questions, also leave it in the comments, and also check out my book. It's free in the comments or the description as well. Now, back to this. Okay, so look, chest on the back. Now, historically, what we're trying to do, and don't put the elbow too far down because it'll roll me over, but historically what we're trying to do in jiu-jitsu is we're trying to get to the back position. So every jiu-jitsu beginner's class, we talk about getting to the back, right? We work a seatbelt grip, okay? We're trying to get our hands tight together, and then what we're trying to do from this position is drive, or I like to drive the shoulder into the head, and then pull our partner on his side, okay? Which is great, which is fine. But one of the big challenges is everybody in jiu-jitsu is expecting that, okay? So once Bryson goes, cover up his butt crack a little bit. Once Bryson gets to the bottom turtle position, I want to put my chest on his back and then go for my back take, but you know what? He's expecting that. So me personally, if I'm going to try to control this position, I don't want to start getting all the way chest on his back and get here, because it's going to be easier for him to move me off center. If he just moves in one direction, then I lose my position. He actually just gave me something which I'm going to go for, which is getting him down to his hip, okay? So this is going to be a little bit more of a wrestling maneuver. It's kind of like the ref's position. The ref's position in jiu-jitsu, in wrestling, where your partner, you start off from kind of this position. Now, if you consider it, get it in a ref's position, please. If you consider it, this is essentially the bottom turtle position, except in my opinion, the ref's position is a little bit more offensive, okay? But they share similarities because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess 5 points of contact here. So I'm either here, or in jiu-jitsu, we're more in a turtle position, okay? Turtle position. So we're gonna talk about those similarities. So again, if my partner turtles up, I'm not immediately going for the back. I don't actually go for the back anymore, okay? What I do instead is I operate as if I'm gonna be in a ref's position. So I want to have my hand right here on his hip, and this hand is gonna either be one right on the inside, or two, what I like to do is I like to reach in for my partner's wrist. So in the event that he moves around, he's not going to shake me as easily because I'm stuck on his hips, okay? Now, what I love doing here is I like driving, it's a spiral, driving my hand down into his hip and then driving his shoulder into the mat. And then what's going to happen is he's going to spiral downward. He's going to want to get back up to the turtle position, and then from here, I will take his back. So only after I've broke him down to a hip, okay? The other thing that you can do here in the event he's not giving me a hand is just to get heavy on the hip and pull him down over his wrist. So if I'm trying to work into his wrist, he's not giving it to me. He's not giving it to me. Then he's kind of losing his base here, right? So then I'll try to break him down to his hip here. And then what happens is he starts to open up. When he opens up, then I'll start working towards that same spiral. Or because he's opened up, now we can go in for our seatbelt grip and work the back take. So again, the goal of this video is to show you a new idea or a new way of attacking the turtle, but it's also to highlight, like, when you get to this position, don't just try to throw your leg over. You have zero control over the position. Instead, personally, try to break your partner down. Get them down to a hip. And now you have all sorts of avenues to control your partner. You can even go for a back take here. You can start attacking the neck at this point. But make them give you the back. Don't chase the back. All right? Make your opponent give you the back by breaking them down to a hip and then seeing what their reaction is. In the very least, if you're able to break them down, they give you side control, so be it. But again, always find a way to control the back position. Don't just try to kick your leg over the back. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, like and subscribe to the channel. Talk to you soon.